Former President Trump has turned himself in at the Fulton County Jail and has been released. I'm Christian Benavides in Atlanta with what he's saying about the case against him.
Plus, extreme heat means an increased risk of heat-related illnesses. We're going to talk with local experts about how to stay healthy. And professionals in Miami get a chance to network and crack into a crab dinner.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
We did nothing wrong. I did nothing wrong. And everybody knows it. I've never had such support. And that goes with the other ones, too.
Donald Trump is headed back to his New Jersey golf club tonight after posting bond at the Fulton County Jail in Atlanta. This is KOAM News at 10. I'm Dow Quick. The former president surrendered to authorities this evening on felony charges that he conspired to overturn the 2020 presidential election results in Georgia. Reporter Christian Benavides with the latest.
Donald Trump departed Atlanta Thursday evening after a motorcade took him to the Fulton County Jail. There, he was booked on 13 felony charges for his alleged efforts to reverse his 2020 election loss in Georgia.
What has taken place here is a travesty of justice.
Inside the jail, he posted a $200,000 bond, was fingerprinted, and a first for a former U.S. president, had his mugshot taken.
I got Kool-Aid here for you.
Outside the jail, there were some Trump critics, but a larger group of supporters.
He's being persecuted.
The charges stem from this January 2nd, 2021 conversation with Georgia Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger.
I just want to find 11,780 votes.
You should be able to challenge an election. I thought the election was a rigged election.
Fulton County District Attorney Fonnie Willis asked the judge to set a trial date of October 23rd. The Trump legal team has already objected to that date, essentially saying they're not looking for a speedy trial.
For Trump, I think it is helpful to delay. For other people, that might not be the case.
All 19 defendants in this case were given until noon on Friday to surrender. Several have already shown up, including Trump's former personal lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, and Trump's former White House chief of staff, Mark Meadows. The Fulton County prosecution is the 4th criminal case against Trump, the Republican frontrunner in the 2024 presidential campaign. Christian Benavides, CBS News, Atlanta.
The entire process with Trump at the jail took less than 30 minutes. But we need a break from the heat. Let's check in with meteorologist Sam Lane.
You're right. We're going to get that break in the heat as we go towards the weekend. But boy, this afternoon was another toasty one with highs well over 100 degrees, especially in southeastern Kansas. Check out Garnett, 105 this afternoon, 104 in Fredonia, also in Howard, 103 in Sedan, and down in Oklahoma as well. Most of the areas were in the upper 90s. We do have some moisture that's trying to sneak in. There's a lot of moisture out to the west, and this is the remnants of Harold that's going to rotate around that upper level high and start to move towards us as we go into Saturday and Sunday, increasing our rain chances. But it's going to be dry tonight with temperatures dropping through the 80s to about 76 degrees by tomorrow morning. And looking down the lane, we're going to have a hot Friday, a weekend rain chances, and then much cooler next week. But unfortunately, Dow, the drought continues, and we desperately need some rainfall. I'll have more details in just a bit.
All right, we'll catch you in a few. The temps, they might be cooling, but it's still important to take precautions. KOAM's Anthony Saviello tells us more.
With a late summer heat wave impacting the 4 states, we spoke with some medical experts on why it's important to be careful outside.
Long exposure to heat is an issue to the body because it causes the core temperature to raise. As our core temperature raises, it makes it harder for our bodies to perform its physiological function correctly. And as it continues to raise upwards of like 104 degrees Fahrenheit, it can become an issue in terms of health and heat illness.
Something that Mercy Hospital's Libby Clark is familiar with seeing in patients during the summer.
Well, what we've been seeing a lot, the most severe cases are people that are just extremely dehydrated. It's dangerous because you can do permanent damage to your kidneys. We'll see a couple, 2, 3 of those a day. Some of them sick enough to go into the ICU.
But now that the heat is projected to die down, it doesn't mean that precautions should.
Even at those relatively like what we would love for right now, cool temperatures, with a high humidity level, they can still be detrimental and dangerous, especially for people who are in a like elderly population. They're even more at risk for these complications.
If you are out You need to be drinking. You need to be drinking 10 to 20 ounces of water every 30 minutes to an hour. And you need to be rotating that with some sort of a sports drink that has electrolytes.
However, those drinks shouldn't be high in sugar content. So even though this summer heat may soon start to die down, it's important to stay hydrated, stay in the shade, and keep yourself safe and healthy. Reporting in Pittsburgh, I'm Anthony Saviello, KOAM News.
Experts also emphasize keeping an eye on your children and pets. Of course, you can stay up to date on the latest weather information with the KOAM weather app. The only medical facility in the city of Noel, Missouri is taking action to support its patients who will lose their health insurance once the Tyson plant closes there in October. OCH Clinic is giving their patients who take medications prescriptions for 90 days with one refill. That means patients will have up to 6 months of medication available. The clinic is also making sure their labs are current.
We're trying to make sure that they're covered as much as we can as they're moving to different parts of the United States.
We are here for all patients within our community, and we're not moving, we're not going anywhere, and we're going to stay committed to them.
At the beginning of the month, Tyson announced plans to close its plant in Noel. There, the company employs about 1,500 people. According to the clinic, about 50% of their patients are directly or indirectly related to Tyson. They also say they're going to be supporting their patients who need help applying for Medicaid. A jury verdict leads to a $33 million award for the family of a man who died while he was an inmate in the Ottawa County, Oklahoma jail. The case dates back to October of 2015 when Terrell Ellis turned himself in at the jail for a DWI warrant. Court documents indicate he was apparently in good health at the time. 12 days later, surveillance equipment recorded Ellis repeatedly complaining of pain and begging for help as staff at the jail mocked him. Court documents say the jail's nurse refused to help him and that Integris EMS workers failed to take Ellis to the hospital. Nearly 6 hours after his first pleas for help, Ellis was found cold and unresponsive. The medical examiner determined Ellis died of septic shock and pneumonia. In awarding the Ellis estate $33 million, the jury determined Ellis was denied his constitutional right to medical care. You can see and hear some of those 2015 surveillance clips on our website. Of course, that's KOAMnewsnow.com. Some new Missouri laws take effect on Monday. One will make destroying an ATM a first-degree property damage crime. Another makes stealing an ATM or its contents a Class C felony. Also, school resource officers will be allowed to bring firearms into schools and onto school buses. And drivers in the Show Me State must be hands-free when using electronic devices on the road. Coming up, some encouraging news about fuel prices in the 4 states. Plus, a Joplin Art Gallery comes up with a creative way to give back to the community.
U.S. service member.
A portion of each sale to the Folds of Honor for the entire month of August. And when you shop at Wade's RV, you're going to be paying the lowest in the nation, and we have third-party data to back that up.
Gas prices in the area are on the decline as we near the Labor Day holiday weekend, when a lot of us are going to be traveling, of course. The statewide average in Missouri is $3.53 per gallon of regular unleaded. That's according to AAA. In Kansas, the average is $3.59. Oklahoma's average $3.56. Arkansas sits at $3.44 a gallon on average. The Miami, Oklahoma Chamber of Commerce tonight hosted a crab dinner with a side of networking. Yum, yum. The Cracking Crab event lets local professionals get to know each other while enjoying some seafood, a chance to kind of come out of their shell, I suppose. Officials say it's a fun way to learn about new opportunities.
Student ambassadors, that really gives them a sense of community. Some of them are from here and some are from elsewhere. They're just gaining those community service hours. And so it gives them the opportunity to meet some of our business leaders. Maybe they want a job, as soon as they get out of school.
We're all one community here, If one of us succeed, all of us succeed. And that's the goal of the chamber, is to get everybody involved, get all the players in the game, and all to succeed together.
That event was hosted at the Miami Civic Center. Looks good. Joplin Art Gallery makes a donation to Ronald McDonald House Charities of the 4 states for $1,200. The donation is the result of local Color Art Gallery's Spring Open House, which was held back on May 4th to showcase the work of 18 award-winning local artists. Pieces from each of these artists were set aside for a silent auction to benefit the charity.
Great idea. So we put together an art auction where all 17 of our local Color Art Gallery artists donated a piece to the auction. Then we advertised it, as well as Ronald McDonald House advertising, and we had lots of people come in and bid on the items, and that's how we were able to raise the money.
Local Color Art Gallery is at 1027 South Main Street in Joplin. Cherokee County Daycares receive a hefty donation thanks to a Southeast Kansas nonprofit organization. The Community Foundation of Southeast Kansas awarded $5,000 to 4 Cherokee County daycares. Those daycares, Highland Daycare and Caius Kids in Columbus, Kitty Garden Daycare in West Mineral, that's them on the right, and Little Blessing Daycare in Baxter Springs on the left, becoming the inaugural recipients of Making a Difference in Child Care grants. The next round of Making a Difference in Child Care grants will be available to providers in Bourbon County, Kansas. A little later, Bookhouse Cinema in Joplin invites the community out to a feline film fest.
And we're tracking cooler temperatures headed our direction. I'll have the complete weekend forecast when we come back.
IndigoSkyCasino.com for details.
Feels good to be home.
Ashley's Labor Day mattress sale is going on now. Save up to $800 on top-rated adjustable mattress sets, or get 0% interest for 60 months. Plus, get a free Yeti cooler with qualifying purchases. Only at Ashley.
Well, another hot one across the 4 states, but at least those kind of days are numbered as we head towards the weekend and cooler temperatures on the way. Let's start out this morning at Indigo Sky Casino and Resort, just inside or just outside of Seneca, Missouri. Bright blue sunny skies most of the afternoon. Then we had some clouds rolling in this afternoon, helping out temperatures just a little bit. And you can also see some of the mid-level clouds increasing, and that means some moisture starting to move into the area as well. We made it up to 100 degrees in Joplin today after starting out at 77, which of course above the normals of 89 and 67, and only 2 degrees away from that record set back in 1947. And so far this summer, we've had 2 days of 100 plus in June, then we had 5 days in July, and so far for August, we've had 6. So it's been a pretty hot summer, but it could have been worse across our region. I know it's hard to say after this week, but it is true. Excessive heat warnings in effect still for southwest Missouri and southeastern Kansas. That goes until 10 o'clock on Friday evening. Temperatures right now are starting to feel a little bit more pleasant out there. 80 degrees in Monett for one of the coolest, and 82 in Stockton, but it's still 84 in Chanute as well as Yates Center, 86 for our friends in Veneta. And looking at the dew points, they've still been high pretty much all week long, still in the mid-70s, even some 80s showing up down in northeast Oklahoma. And that is soupy on the dew point tracker, and that's what makes it feel so much worse out there. Right now, it still feels like 100 degrees in Anderson, 99 in Grove, but it is feeling a little bit cooler up towards the north in Iola where it's 88. Now tomorrow, with the heat and humidity added together, it's still going to feel like 110 plus across most of the southern areas. And then as we go into Saturday, still feeling like 110 plus in Oklahoma, but hundreds elsewhere. And then on Sunday, temperatures feeling actually closer to normal, with feeling like in the 70s, 80s, and some 90s down to the south. Unfortunately, we're still in the drought, especially in the western parts of our area. Chautauqua, Elk, and Montgomery counties, also dry in Vernon as well as Cedar counties up to the north. And unfortunately, there's not very much in the way of rain chances for the next 36 hours. But as we go towards the weekend, we are expecting better chances of showers and storms. And it looks like some of the heavier precipitation may fall to the north, but hopefully everybody will get something in the rain bucket. And it's all because we have this ridge of high pressure that's going to be retreating to the west, and then some moisture is going to be coming up over on top of that, swinging down from the north and west, bringing some cooler temperatures, more cloudiness, and some precipitation, which is desperately needed. Then that system will move away and we'll still be left with some seasonal temperatures. Tonight, mid-70s across the area. Then tomorrow, we're going to be looking at temperatures right at 100 degrees once again. And then as we go into Friday morning, we're going to be looking at, or Saturday morning, we're going to see temperatures in the mid-70s. And notice the rain chances really start to increase, especially as we go into Saturday night after highs in the 80s and 90s. And then as we go into Sunday morning, lows in the 70s. But look at this 7-day forecast. Much cooler as we go into next week, actually below normal, if you can believe that, with lows in the 50s. Are you kidding me?
Oh, wow, below normal.
Yeah.
With the dew point tracker it says soupy, I'm thinking things don't get much wetter than soup.
That's right, and not without crackers too.
Yeah, without crackers. Although rain, which is certainly wet, would be welcome.
Very welcome
So
indeed.
Get some.
Yep.
Thanks, Sam. Lovers of all things feline are invited to an event that is truly the cat's meow. Bookhouse Cinema in Joplin hosts Cat Video Fest, which is a compilation reel of the latest and best cat videos, culled from hours of unique submissions and sourced animations, music videos, and classic internet powerhouses. And honestly, who doesn't love cat videos? I know you watch them. You watch them during commercial breaks. This is a one-of-a-kind cinema experience. It can be seen on this form only in theaters. Plus, it raises money for cats in need through partnerships with local cat charities, animal welfare organizations, and shelters. A portion of the ticket sales will go to Spare Cat Rescue in Carthage.
An annual event at theaters across the country. It's produced by Oscilloscope Laboratories. They usually have some pretty offbeat independent films, but they put this together. And across the country, it raises money for cat shelters and people who dedicate their lives to helping cats.
Tickets cost $8. The event runs Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and then again on the 31st. Might want to check it out. Still ahead, Chiefs head coach Andy Reid reacts to the Chris Jones contract holdout lasting into the final week of the preseason. And 2 local high school football teams make their final preparations before starting their season tomorrow night. John Dales has those stories and more coming up next.
Balkans Festival.
This time tomorrow night, all the Week 1 high school football games in the area will have wrapped up. That means there's only one more sleep before players can lace up their cleats, strap on their shoulder pads, and get ready for some real game action. Now, one of the teams with a home game to begin the season is Nevada. Tigers out on the field early this morning, 6 a.m., for one final walkthrough before tomorrow's season's opener against Springfield Catholic. Now, Nevada is coming off back-to-back trips to the district championship game. The team feels ready, even though Mother Nature has thrown it some curveballs this week.
This week's been interesting with the heat situation. We practiced in the morning Monday and Tuesday. We did get out on the field for a little bit Wednesday when the heat dipped a little bit here. It was a little bit overcast, so we got out on the field a little bit on Wednesday, and then of course had the morning walk through today on Thursday because just didn't want to risk the heat being so high that we couldn't get out on the field and do what we need to do. So it's been an odd week of practice, but I'm sure everybody's dealt with that, and I think we're pretty prepared to play.
We've really just been focusing on getting everything to crisp because we have a lot of young guys who are having to step up and who didn't get as much playing time last year since we lost so many seniors. So we've just been really focusing on hitting the technique hard and just making sure everything's working to a T, and you have to make sure everything's going and we're all moving as one unit.
McDonald County is another local school that begins its season at home tomorrow night. The Mustangs start things off with a conference game against Mount Vernon, and this afternoon they get one final tune-up before that season opener. McDonald County on the field outside this afternoon, even amidst the heat, working through some offense and special teams, again before they kick things off tomorrow night. Mustangs are coming off a 6-5 overall record in 2022. McDonald County lost its season opener on the road last year to Mount Vernon. This year, both of those squads get together again to open the season.
Our kids, especially our seniors, our leaders, they understand it's kind of their last shot. And so we've had a lot of urgency throughout the summer and the early part of practice here and throughout camp in July. You know, we know that our schedule is going to be tough, and it starts with a really tough one against Mount Vernon tomorrow night. And we know that they're going to come in really well coached. They play hard. They've got a lot of tradition in that program. And we know we're going to have to bring our best tomorrow.
We obviously had some key players go off to college, obviously, but we got some lower classmen coming up and backing up those guys, and we've made a lot of progress. We have a lot more in this year than we did last year at this point of the year, and I think we're in a pretty good spot.
And in professional football, tonight marks the beginning of the final week of preseason action in the NFL. Now, the Chiefs don't play until Saturday. Right now, though, a lot of the focus around the defending Super Bowl champs is about All-Pro D-end Chris Jones, who's holding out and not joining the team. Now, Jones has 1 year left on his 4-year, $80 million contract. This past week, he was asked by a fan on Twitter when he would join the team. Jones simply responded, Week 8. He went on to say he can afford to give up his weekly over $1 million game check. For head coach Andy Reid, a player like Chris Jones obviously is invaluable, but he's ready for the possibility of beginning the year without him.
There's been no communication, so I don't know what's going to go there. But whatever happens, happens. I mean, not there. The game goes on, right? So that's how it works.
I guess it's the way that it goes, but it feels like the preseason leading up to it has gone faster this year at all levels of football.
Well, that's true. Of course, it used to be 4 games in the preseason in the NFL. Now it's been 3 for a while.
Yeah.
And I can't wait for the season to begin, but gosh, I'd feel a lot better if Chris Jones was with the Chiefs.
I think a lot of Chiefs fans would.
He's the best defensive player on the team by a long shot. We'll be right back. Hey, don't forget, you can stay up to the moment with today's weather with the KOAM Skywatch weather app. You live in the 4 states, you know how volatile the weather can be around here. You get those severe weather updates sent straight to your phone. Best part is the price. It's free of charge. Yeah, it doesn't cost a dime. It's available in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Check it out right now. You can do it with your phone. KOAM Skywatch weather app.
Yeah.
What we would like from the weather right now is a break from the heat, Sam.
One more day, and then we're going to see some relief as we head towards the weekend with temperatures in the 80s by the end of it. And then look at that, a stretch of 80-degree days, which is actually below normal. And look at those 50s. How about that?
I'm getting goosebumps.
We're getting giddy.
Yeah, lows in the 50s. Final sports note.
Football is here in the 4 states. Tomorrow we got a great slate of games. Also, we have our first edition of 4-State Friday Night tomorrow night.
Looking forward to all of it. Thanks for joining us. Don't forget the morning show at 5 a.m. and let's make it a great tomorrow.